nous on descend par là, à gauche, c'est ça?
Gauche.
Et savoir qu'il y a des gens qui reviennent à peine du Maroc et qui ont le sourire et le soleil dans les yeux.
Qui est le tenant du titre, on va s'avancer un tout petit peu devant le titre. Tenant du titre et donc deuxième de cette magnifique édition. C'est une photo qui a été prise juste avant City. On était donc juste avant City.
Parce qu'il y a du soleil, normalement il y en a peut-être eu un peu moins à cause de la saison. On est arrivé à Tanger, il pleuvait, mais rapidement on a eu du soleil. Et puis on a effectivement découvert le désert qui est magnifique. Et donc je dis un mot quand même.
Well, this might be the last time we see the back of this machine. Feels very familiar. Perhaps the surroundings have changed slightly. This has become an iconic view of the Sun Trip. The missile. Well, it's time to depart Chambéry. Thank you very much, Chambéry, for the warm welcome. A beautiful town. Jean-Marc is going the wrong way. We're going to need to go that way. But it's okay, because now we are no longer on a sun trip, so it doesn't matter which way we go or how long it takes. I can just go to a supermarket, I can stop and eat snacks. If I'm too warm, I can take my jacket off, no problem. Life is easy. If I get a puncture, I don't care. Normally on a bike tour, if it's raining and cold and you're tired, you'd be like so mad about a puncture, but I really don't care at all. And I'm also like a level of tiredness that would normally be considered extremely tired, but because I'm in this bizarre racing sun trip mode, I feel great. everything is skewed by the sun trip. No, the normal world has become comfortable. The normal life on a bike. Okay, I should film this street, it's quite nice. This was the arrival street. Me and Jean-Marc will depart together from the town. He's heading more north-ish than me. I've got to go back and get my van, my house, which I left. I was going to say near Lyon, but it's actually kind of far. It's near Macon. So I think it's like 170 kilometers from here, maybe 200 or something. And he's heading back towards Switzerland way. Pretty nice, last chance to ride together. I've missed being on the bike. I know it's weird, it's like a day, you know, but this was my reality for a long time. This is great, very happy. Oopsie doopsie, little bit of motorway there. At least the sun trip is finished. Me and Jean-Marc just laughing, flying along at full power with the trucks in the motorway. Oops, never mind, only a few hundred meters. That was quite exciting. That Velomobile is fast when it wants to be. Oh wow. Just chatting to these bike touring guys. The extra wheel trailer, it's really cool. It's like a spare wheel you can bring with you, and then if you have a problem you just ditch your trailer and put it on your bike. Yep, stopped to take my jacket off. Nice luxury. This is what used to be the old service emergency exit tunnel, but now they turned it into a cyclable, well, a cycleway. It's 1.7 kilometers long or something like that. Very cool. I love things like this. Always when, let me flip the camera. Always when you're in one of these car tunnels, I always think, oh, I'd love to have a look. I wonder what the emergency tunnel's like in the middle. And then you always see the doors, the big fireproof doors. Well, it looks like this apparently. Less exciting than you might imagine. Solar is not very good in here, I have noticed. But today we don't care. No problem. It's about 100 kilometers, I think. A bit more. Yeah, the rain's a bit annoying, but it's okay, we're staying dry. I'd like to go through some of the numbers from the Sun Trip. The Sun Trip should release them soon, I think. The data from me and John Mark, not from the GPS, from the live map, because that's a little bit inaccurate. It just measures the distance between each point that it pings. The points are accurate, but then it's just measuring a straight line between them. From our personal GPSs, we gave all the data. And it's really interesting. There's a lot of lessons to be learned, and yeah, I think somebody will do a nice analysis of it. I'm hoping Bernard Coquille will do it, because he likes data and these things. Let's see. So I'm climbing a little bit now, so I'm hoping that the wind noise is a bit better. Yeah, I just want to talk about some of the stats. Like I say, it should get released. And when I say stats, I mean the cycling stats, not any of the electrical stuff. This is just from the cycling, but it covers everything really. So I'll put on screen one of the very early versions of a comparison table. The color coding is a little bit weird and perhaps confusing, but I think it'll be fixed. So, the key takeaway here is that I cycled. Well, let's start at the start. The amazing thing first is Jean-Marc cycled 500 kilometers more than I did. 500 kilometers, and that's by choice because he did everything he can to avoid climbing because his bike is heavier than mine. And as you can imagine, because of that, I did significantly more climbing. I did like 7,500 meters more climbing, which, you know, is not far off a Mount Everest extra I somehow managed to find. You know, and he somehow managed to find like an Andorra, a small country extra somewhere. But yeah, for me, the biggest takeaway, my average speed was 25, his was 28 point something. So you must think, how is it possible? How can it be possible? He went further, he went faster. It's just impossible to not win. Well, how did I manage to keep up? The difference is, I physically moved, my moving time, for 17.5 hours longer than Jean-Marc did. 17.5 hours. And that's just the accumulation of don't stop at any time for anything. Don't stop in the day for a shop. Don't stop to take your jacket off. Don't stop for anything. 17.5 hours is a day, basically a day and a half more, a Sun Trip day and a half. We have a window of 14 hours we're allowed to cycle. So somehow I managed to find an extra day in there. And it shows it really is the battle of the tortoise versus the hare. 3.5 kilometers an hour faster than me. But the fact that he basically has no choice, he has to avoid the climbs, you know, which has forced this extra 500 kilometers on him. And all this extra time I spent cycling was the thing that kind of broke the balance. The thing is, if you have a bike that is 20% faster, and I cycle 20% more, it's not 20%, but just for example, well then the bike's the same speed. A velomobile that's not moving is not faster than a normal bike, and that's the key, and that's a big takeaway. And I really think I could have done the Sun Trip a lot faster. If you look at the stats, the first half I wasn't really being pushed enough. You know, I have some of the days are, well, they're all over like 12 hours, but you know, there's an hour and a half missing there if you do a 12-hour day. You can see somewhere in the middle, I realised, okay, let's optimise everything to keep moving. And from that point, every single day is over 13 and a half hours, or at least over 13. And that's kind of was always my trick. This is why I would probably never win a Sun Trip again, because it's out in the public now, my way of doing things. If John Mark rode the same as me, he would have won. He would have won by a lot. Or if somebody else comes in a future Sun Trip, again, then it's down to the bike, and they'll probably have a faster bike than me. But absolutely fascinating data. I'd like somebody to break it down, it'd be really cool. I'll put it on screen now and you can pause and have a little look. I'm sure there'll be more interesting stuff to come also. But yeah, interesting.
Finally arrived. It's been a long time since I was here. Somewhere in the mix is home, and it's not the tractor. Oh my god, it feels so good to see home again. This key has been in the pocket of my jacket this whole time. I can always feel it when I'm riding. Oh, what a mess. Well, now we're gone from solar and leg power to used vegetable oil power. Also sustainable. Well, it's the next day now. The bike looks ridiculous. I think having both of my vehicles together is not a good idea. It takes up quite a bit of space. I've been in contact with Azov Bikes, the manufacturer of the frame, and they'd be happy to welcome me for a visit to the factory in Czech Republic. So hopefully I'm going to make a video about that coming up. It'll be super interesting to speak to them because they're so knowledgeable about recumbents and touring recumbents. So I think that'll make for a nice video, so you have that to look forward to. I'll also try and make a bike review, as is much requested. I'll go through all the different components, things I like, things I don't like, and kind of my design philosophy for this Sun Trip, and to sort of, you know, reveal my thinking beforehand and whether I think it was a good idea or not. And yeah, maybe we'll do a few little bike trips and things like that. So I'll have a few little videos now and then. So stay tuned if you want to see more from me. Might not be as exciting as the Sun Trip, but maybe it will, let's see. Thank you very much for watching again, and I'll see you hopefully in the next video. Bye for now.